Howdy. How are y'all all doing? Welcome to Thursday, the 22nd. More importantly, not Thursday, Monday, right? There you go. Welcome to Monday. I'm already thinking about Thanksgiving. The Monday right before Thanksgiving. I hope y'all are all doing fantastic. I know that a lot of you that maybe are in school, maybe don't have school this week. A lot of y'all that are working may not be working this week. So congratulations. I'm glad y'all chose to stay out here with me. Before we go any further, SKD143. I love my wife. I love my kids. I love all y'all out here. Thank you so much. I so look forward to my Monday nights. A Monday night right before Thanksgiving. I'm still working. Kind of. Yeah, I work as a salesman, so it gets a little quiet right here before Thanksgiving. But I'm still working a little bit. But I'm so happy about here talking to y'all, see how everything's going, and just checking in with y'all before we go off and eat all our turkey and everything else for the not just for Thursday. I don't know. Are y'all the same way? Everyone's the same way, right? You eat on Thursday and then you just go on and eat leftovers for days and days on end. It's the way we do it in our family. Although I'll tell y'all some Thanksgiving stories in just a second because I came prepared. But before I do, in case I didn't say it already, howdy everyone. So now let's kick right off and see what's going on. Let me see who else going on out here. Read through these comments. And before I get further, because it's hard enough to keep comments as they are. Brian Oster, hi Brian, and yes, happy Thanksgiving week, everyone. Amanda Lowe, Lawrence, Maz out here as well. All of y'all out here, all my friends. Jake Patton, hey Jake, I saw a post from you today. Charity Whitman, Ms. Pina Phantom. I like that login name. Chaz, Hayden, Andy. I got all my friends out here. All right, welcome aboard. I never know. When you got the holidays, all this extra stuff is going on. People get busy doing it. This weekend was amazing. We were out and about. You would think that Christmas is day after tomorrow with as many people that are out shopping and eating and everything else. It's just that time of year, isn't it? I can't believe it. We're getting towards the very end of the year. Which this time means that end of the year means start of the year. Start of the year means Celebrity Big Brother. Celebrity Big Brother leads into Big Brother Canada, and Big Brother Canada leads into Big Brother USA. It's going to be fun. There's always reality TV going on, right? Well, let's look at a couple of these comments. Hayden said, ever try pizza and eggnog? Well, I've tried pizza. I've tried eggnog. I haven't ever tried them together, Hayden. I'm not a huge fan of eggnog. It's okay. It's not something I would pick out of a menu if I had to, or I'd go out of my way to order. Pizza, on the other hand, I can do with a little bit of pizza. And Lawrence is saying, my family hates turkey. What to do? I've got one or two members of my family, non-immediate family, some of my distant family, they're the same way. We always have a little ham off to the side of them for them, and there's so much food going on Thanksgiving. It's never been a huge issue. Amanda's saying, is Thanksgiving at your house or are you traveling? All right, here's what we do. Yeah, well, I knew there was going to be a lot of Thanksgiving talk tonight. Here's what we normally do. And I think I may have mentioned it before, but if not, what we typically do is not celebrate Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving Day, but we celebrate it the day after. So we'll be celebrating it on Friday, and that lets everyone celebrate Thanksgiving with the other sides of the family on Thursday. And then the Hog family all gets together on Friday, and we do our big Thanksgiving celebration. And we're doing it this year at my mom's house up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So we'll be celebrating Thanksgiving with all my side of the family. And yeah, it's going to be fun. It's I know I said this last week. My family is a little bit like that. The big family and my big fat Greek wedding, people running around everywhere, challenging each other to competitions and playing board games. One of the things we always do is we always play Ticket to Ride or Risk or Monopoly, games like that while we've got everyone together. Normally it's Risk. And I talked about that when I tried out for Big Brother. They said, why do you think you do so well on Big Brother, Cliff? I said, it's because I play Risk with all my family members so much. I've learned to negotiate, to bluff, to attack, do everything that you need to do. And honestly, playing Risk is a lot like playing Big Brother in the way you have to do things to make other people bigger targets than yourself, and just a lot of commonality between some of the board games that we play around the dinner table and the way you play the game of Risk. So we've got that. All right, so let's see what else we have on here. Toy Story background. Yeah, let's talk about that before I go through a lot of the other comments. There's kind of a Toy Story theme, right? And there's a reason for that. Did y'all know on this day in 1995, the premiere of Toy Story at the movie theaters? Was it the first Pixar film? It's got to be. I think they'd maybe done some little animated shorts, things like that, but it was the first full-length, first kind of show that used the Pixar animation that made everything look so realistic. That was somewhere between the cartoon and the live action. And we got introduced to Buzz and Woody and Slinky Dog and Mr. Potato Head, all the characters. I remember that so well. Now it must have come out in the fall, because I remember we had just moved to Oklahoma City. My son was a baby. He died. He won't have remembered Toy Story, but my daughter was 3 years old, 2 years old, 2 or 3 years old at the time, so she kind of remembered. But my wife and I, we remembered. We loved it. The music was so fantastic. The characters were so great. It just absolutely, Toy Story, one of my all-time favorites. And then Toy Story 2 was great as well. Got a little secret for you. I've never seen Toy Story 3, and I've never seen, is there Toy Story 4 too, right? But I've never seen those. And the reason is, right about the time Toy Story 3 came out was when my kids were in college or getting ready to go to college. And they said, Mom, Dad, y'all can't watch this because it's going to make y'all too sad, because it involves kids going off and leaving their toys behind and all that. Don't watch it because you'll cry. And I was okay, we won't watch it. I need to watch it now, but I'll still probably cry. I always have a soft spot in my heart for Buzz and Woody and everything else. So yeah, it's a premiere of Toy Story. Now, because we're a little bit in the Christmas season, Thanksgiving and all of that, got a little story for you talking about Toy Story. One Christmas, I remember my daughter, Kelly, the toy that she wanted almost beyond anything else that year was a Jessie action figure from Toy Story 2. Remember Woody's friend Jessie? She wanted a Jessie doll, and I couldn't find it anywhere. That was back when we still had all the Toys R Us and everything. Now it seems like if you can't buy it at Amazon or Walmart or somewhere, there's not a lot of toy stores anywhere. But back then there were Toys R Us everywhere. Every day I would drive to every Toys R Us, it seems like, looking for a Jessie doll. And I would go there and there'd be 500 Woody dolls. There'd be 500 Buzz Lightyears. There'd be $500, 500 Slinky Dogs. There wouldn't be a single Jessie. And I was getting so disappointed until finally I walk into one store. And it's just like in the TV shows where you hear the, and you see the halo around the counter. I looked up, and there it was, right in front of me. I went over and grabbed it. I'm glad there wasn't someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger somewhere, someone there fighting for the doll. Y'all remember Jingle? What was it? Jingle Bells? Not Jingle Bells. What's the one with Schwarzenegger where he's trying to find the action figure doll last minute? Jingle All the Way. Jingle All the Way. Yeah, it made me think of that. But I got the Jessie doll for Kelly that year, and I felt like a very good dad, which it's kind of silly. What makes you a good parent or bad parent isn't whether you get your specific gift that particular year, but I was still kind of happy. So there's my little Toy Story story for all of y'all. All right, let me look through some comments before I tell y'all a few more stories. Ms. Pina Phantom, I played in Big Brother and got 6th place. Advice for being outside the house post Big Brother. All right, well, first of all, congratulations. 6th place, that's good. I got to be careful, because when I tell people, 6th place is good, 8th place is good, it doesn't mean that if you don't get that far that you didn't play a great game. Sometimes things just don't work out. There's only so much you can control inside the Big Brother house. But having said that, 6 is pretty good. That means that you fought through a whole lot of people to get to that spot. So congratulations. Life outside the Big Brother house, and it's interesting. It's a learning curve for all of us when we get out of the house. And I know, I'll tell you one thing. When I got out of the house, I had a few phone calls and people that reached out to me, past contestants that said, hey, if you ever need anything, let me know. One of the main people was Angela Rockstar. She went out of her way to say, look, I'm here if you ever need me. Here's my phone number. She gave me her cell phone, everything. just really nice of her. I've always been appreciative of that. But I've tried to do the same thing when I got out. I've talked to all of the everyone who got out this past season and have communicated with all of them. And speaking of, Kylan reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'm going to Hearts Reality. Looking forward to saying hello." So I'm excited about seeing him and everyone else from Big Brother 23 there. But now you just have to realize when you get out of that Big Brother house that not everyone's going to love you. Not everyone's going to hate you. And the people that are the most vocal on social media sometimes don't always represent a huge majority. And you just have to be a little thick-skinned, because there's always going to be people saying you should have done this, you should have done that, and why didn't this happen? You play the best you can. But you just enjoy the ride. That's the part I didn't think about when I did Big Brother, is the fact that I would then get to come out and do shows like this and visit with all of y'all and just continue kind of the experience and all of that. That's the best part of the whole thing. So I just kind of laugh stuff off as you go once you're out of the Big Brother house, because you have to do that. It's just part of the experience. All right, let's see here. We got Chaz or Chris. Let me do that one first. My son wanted a Buzz Lightyear and kept calling it Buzz Light Beer. Asked Santa for a Buzz Light Beer. Well, I bet Santa was a little interested in that particular request. Probably gave you a funny look as well. Buzz Light, yeah, I could see that, how that could absolutely happen. Do y'all know? I don't know if y'all seen. I've seen the trailer for it. They've got a new. It's got to be Pixar. A new movie coming out about the origins of Buzz Lightyear, and they've got one of David Bowie's songs playing, Starman, and it looks so good. It's all as though Buzz is not an action figure, but he's a real person that became Buzz Lightyear. I think it looks really good. I'm so ready to see it. I haven't gone to the movie theaters to see a movie in a long time. Maybe I'll break down and do it for the Buzz Lightyear origin story, because it looked fantastic. So I got that. All right, let's see. What else do I have on here? All right, Chaz, have you watched the Rock's new movie on Netflix, Red Notice? Highly suggest it. I watched the first part of it. I had a phone call came in. I couldn't, some stuff going on. So yeah, Sharon and I started to watch the first part of it. It's got Ryan Reynolds and The Rock on there, and they're trying to steal, call it what you will, some of Cleopatra's eggs, which I need to look up. I don't know if that's a real thing that she had big eggs or not, but yeah, it was pretty good. Very action-packed, a lot of running around and escaping and everything else. Yeah, I don't want to give out any spoilers or anything like that. I've only seen half the movie, so I don't feel like I can give away a lot of spoilers. But no, I was enjoying it. It's fun. It's action-packed, but it's, as you would expect with Ryan Reynolds and The Rock, they don't take anything seriously. It's very tongue-in-cheek, a lot of humor throughout the deal, and it's funny. Who would have thought The Rock would have turned into such a comedian? I mean, I've enjoyed almost everything that he has done. He's got to be one of my favorite actors. I think of this, and I think of Jumanji, which was just amazing with him in it. And what's that? He did that one, Skyscraper, which was a little bit more of a Die Hard type, real serious type. But yeah, I always like The Rock in his movies. So yeah, if you haven't checked out Red Notice, check it out. All right, Lawrence, I miss Toys R Us and KB stores. Yeah, I do too. I mean, I remember going to those places and just staying there forever. I mean, when I was a kid, or even more so when we had our kids, we would. Speaking of which, we got Black Friday coming up. I don't know. Black Friday is not as much of a thing as it used to be, because so many people order so much online and all. But I remember earlier years when my kids were a lot younger, I remember going and standing in line for these freaking Black Fridays at the toy stores and stuff, waiting all night long to try to order or try to get stuff that was cheap, or just because there was limited supplies of it. And I remember getting some amazing deals. I think it was KB's Toys one year. I got big old Tonka dump trucks for a couple of bucks, and G.I. Joe, the big, tall, like 11-inch G.I. Joes for a couple of bucks. It was fantastic. But you know what I remember about that year more than anything else? I remember that the big craze that year was Furbies. Yeah, y'all even know what Furbies are anymore. This seems like such a long time ago. Those are the things that you turn upside down and feed me and do things like that. They were like a little gremlin type knockoff. The earliest kind of artificial intelligence responsive type stuff. Everyone in this line was there to try to get Furbies. It's like, well, there's 5,000 of y'all in line. Y'all aren't the people in the back. You're not getting a Furby. There's no way, right? But they were all there to get Furbies. Thank God my kids were young enough. I didn't have to worry about it. I didn't have to be fighting for that one. But I remember, I think it was actually maybe even like a couple of days after Christmas. We were somewhere taking something back. I don't remember. But I go into a store and there's a Furby on the shelf. And I thought, man, what's this one Furby by itself on this shelf doing here? And I went and checked it out. It was a Furby, but it was a Furby in Spanish. It only did its little talking in Spanish and everything, which I actually thought was kind of cool. And so I bought it. I gave it to my mom as a late Christmas present. It just is a fun little thing to have. And she still has it. It's probably worth a fortune now. I mean, how many people have Spanish-speaking Furbies right now that are still working and everything else? But yeah, so I bought the Spanish Furby, and I did it intentionally. But yeah, that's I remember people just fighting, and they still do that. You see these videos of people just fighting over each other at Walmart and things like that. I've always worried. We had the big tragedy with our Astroworld Festival and the people that died. Oh, it's so horrible. But I always feared something like that was going to happen at Black Friday because those people are just so aggressively pushing each other in and all that. So if y'all are going out on Black Friday to do your shopping, just be careful. There's nothing that you're trying to get. Yeah, you may get a 140-inch TV set for $99, and that's a great deal. It's not worth getting hurt over. So just little Cliff acting as the dad kind of speech there for you guys. All right, let's see what else we got. Ma saying my brother's turning 7 on Thanksgiving Day. Well, congratulations to your brother, Ma. First time it lands on Thanksgiving in his lifetime. Oh, I hadn't even thought about that. Yeah, since Thanksgiving isn't always on the same day, that it may not always happen. So congratulations to your brother. I hope he gets a big old candle stuck in the middle of that turkey or his cranberry dressing to celebrate. My birthday's kind of the same way with regards not to Thanksgiving, but to Easter. Because Easter, it's on Sunday, but it's such a weird schedule trying to figure out when it is, and I never have been able to figure out. But my birthday is right at the very end of where Easter can potentially occur, and I think about 10 years ago or so, it actually hit on my birthday. It's like the only time it's going to happen in my entire lifetime, unless I live to be 300 years old or something. Which nowadays you never know, but. Yeah, so we had Easter and we had my birthday on the same day, which was kind of cool, just to be a little different. All right, Lawrence asked, BB Trivia, what was the only Big Brother cast to celebrate Thanksgiving together? It's got to be Over the Top, right? I was trying to think who Over the Top, or who else did a fall season? Was I don't give me some hints. I'm trying to think. Was season 8 a fall season? I don't think so. So I'm going to go with Big Brother Over the Top, but I could be wrong. It wouldn't be the first time, and it won't be the last. But yeah, let me know if I'm correct on that. All right, let me see through here. Let's see. All right, let's see. All right, Andy's saying I almost finished with Christmas shopping. Well, congratulations to you. I have Christmas. All right, I got a little story for y'all. I got Christmas shopping. My daughter's birthday, my wife's birthday are both in December, and my anniversary is right after Christmas as well in December. So I got a few things to celebrate. A little bit of shopping to do during the Christmas time. Let's see. Happy as long as there's mac and cheese. Yeah, we got to have mac and cheese, Andy, always. I'm trying to get caught up, guys. Let me see. All right, let me tell you a couple of stories if I can. Come up here. All right, this day in history, we talked all about Toy Story. Hold on a second. We talked. Let's see. Sorry, I had to get my thoughts again. We talked all about Toy Story. I got another day in history, and I don't mean to. Oh yeah, we had the fun with Toy Story. Today is also kind of a solemn memory, and I saw someone posted up a little bit earlier. Today is the anniversary of the assassination of John F. Kennedy, November 22nd, little before my time, 62. So, God, what's that be? 59 years from ago is when it happened. again, I wasn't around when it happened, but I grew up just outside Dallas. So I've been to Dealey Plaza where it happened multiple times and seen everything. Such a strange situation because that area really hasn't changed from when the assassination actually took place. So I can still stand exactly where people were standing. We've seen the films and everything. And I hear people talk saying, oh, I remember exactly what I was doing. My parents were driving from Fort Worth to New Orleans, and they stopped on the side of the road to get some gas. And the guy came running out and said, hey, the president's been shot. And everyone knows exactly where they were. It's just such a weird deal. I remember when President Reagan was shot. He lived through it, but I still remember exactly. I was in my 7th period Spanish class. Cindy Sands, 1963. Okay, thank you. And then, okay, yeah, I guess that's right. No, again, it's before my time, so I was off a year, 63. Yeah, I remember Reagan. I was in my 7th period Spanish class when he was. They came over the loudspeakers and said he'd been assassinated. And I was playing football at the time, and I just wanted to go home and watch the news. And they said, nah, coaches, you're not going to save the president, so you get your rear end out there and start running instead. So we still had to go through practice. I rushed home, watched all the news and all that. And so I remember everything like that. I can only imagine when it was even worse, like with Kennedy, what it may have been like. So yes, anniversary of Kennedy, unfortunately, being assassinated. We're lucky. We're lucky we haven't had that happen more often than the few times it has happened in history. But I do have a few stories for y'all with regards to JFK and all that. First of all, did y'all know that, yes, I was on Big Brother, but I'm just kind of following along in my father's footsteps because my father, who was not an actor, but he was on the TV movie, The Trial of Lee Harvey Oswald, which was filmed in 1977. They filmed it there in Dallas, and somehow he and a good friend of ours found out that they were casting for extras. And so they went down and said, yeah, we'd love to be extras in this movie. And they took them. They said, yeah, we'd love to have you. The problem was my dad had a full beard. And they said, guys didn't have beards back in the 60s, so you're going to have to shave your beard. So he came home at the end of the day, and I barely recognized him because I'd never seen my father without a beard. But he shaved his beard, and he and his buddy played reporters, photographers that were standing around when Lee Harvey Oswald ends up getting shot by Jack Ruby after he had killed, allegedly. Talk to Kat, she'll say allegedly, after he allegedly killed JFK. But my dad, you actually see him taking a picture right there as they freeze the film and all of that. So yeah, I was pretty impressed. I was 12 years old at the time. Pretty impressed that my dad was a TV star on a movie that we got to watch on TV. So I'm still pretty impressed with that. So those old hog guys, we're willing to jump out there and take risk and do all kinds of crazy stuff when the opportunity presents itself, right? I think so. So yeah, my dad was in the movie about Lee Harvey Oswald and JFK. Now the other story I've got for y'all, a little bit of trivia for you. Did you know Lee Harvey Oswald is buried in a cemetery in Fort Worth, East Fort Worth, called Rose Hill Cemetery? And if you go there, they won't tell you where he's buried because they're tired of people trying to find his grave and all that. And they just say, yeah, we can't tell you anything about Lee Harvey Oswald. So if you go there, you won't know unless you know someone who's in the know, because my family's plot is about 100 feet or so, just around the corner in this cemetery from Lee Harvey Oswald. My great-grandparents, my grandparents, my dad, my brother are all in this burial plot, just 100 feet or so from where Lee Harvey is. So every time, not every time, lots of times when we go over there, I'll go check out his grave because I'm in the know. So if you want to know, just let me know. I'll give you some directions. But what's really interesting, not only is Lee Harvey Oswald buried in this cemetery, but because he was considered, so much notoriety, such a villain and all that, no one wanted to be buried around him. So where he's buried, it's empty for about 20 feet in every direction, except for one burial plot that's right next to his, a guy named Nick Beef. And he's got a gravestone right next to Lee Harvey. And it was always a huge mystery. Who is Nick Beef and why did he want to get buried next to Lee Harvey Oswald and what's going on? Well, eventually, a few years ago, they found out that it was actually a comedian from, he grew up in Dallas, Fort Worth. He lives somewhere else now, but he found out that no one wanted to be buried next to Lee Harvey Oswald. So he actually bought the plot next to him. He hadn't died, at least as far as I know, he hadn't died yet. But he just put his name up next to it because he knew that they weren't giving anyone directions to Lee Harvey Oswald's grave. So he put his up next to it and got everyone to spread the word that, hey, if you want to go see his gravestone, ask for Nick Beef, because they'll tell you where he's buried, and then you can just look next to him. And so this guy figured out a way to get everyone to remember what his name was, at least everyone who went to the cemetery. And so that's the way, I guess, you did social media in the days before Twitter and Instagram and all of that. Yeah, you just created a headstone next to someone famous so that people would talk about your name as well, right? I actually think it's kind of brilliant. And every time I go and I see his headstone there next to Lee Harvey, I kind of laugh about it. So a little bit on the macabre, a little bit of a weird, unusual story, but those are my two connections to JFK, as brief and as 20 degrees of separation between me and JFK as there possibly could be, but still pretty cool. So yeah, anniversary of JFK. All right, let me get caught up on these comments. Sorry about that, guys. Linda Eckhoff, do you remember driving to McDonald's to get Beanie Babies? That was a mess, and we were full of Happy Meals because my mom wanted all of them. And then through let me see. Yeah, I remember it. The Beanie Babies. We weren't quite as that passionate. I mean, I remember going through to get a lot of different ones that were in those Happy Meals, but we had a lot of Beanie Babies as well. Not the little McDonald's ones, but just other ones. We got a lot of them, and eventually we had a homecoming parade. My kids had a homecoming parade in high school, and they had so many of these Beanie Babies that had lost all their value and everything. Or actually, I don't think it was my kids. I think it was like their debate coach. Had all these Beanie Babies that he was tired of holding on to, and kids. I think people had found out that he was a collector, so all his students had given him Beanie Babies, and he finally had such a huge vat of them that they just, during one of the homecoming parades, they were throwing these things out everywhere. So yeah, I remember the whole Beanie Baby craze. Kat Dunn, I think she was all excited because she found some Beanie Baby that was supposedly worth $10,000 20 years ago, 10 years ago. How long ago were the Beanie Babies? Back in the day, it was worth a lot. Now it's worth like $5.99 or something. So she wasn't quite as, I hope she didn't pay $10,000. I hope she didn't invest in Beanie Babies nowadays based on the values of 20 years ago, because I think they've dropped in value just a little bit. We still have a lot of them here around the house, not as collector's items, but just you gather them over time. And yeah, a lot of them are the slightly smaller and the different ones that we got at McDonald's. I remember everyone running around. McDonald's used to have some really cool toys in those Happy Meals, right? Nowadays, I'm not always as impressed with them, but back then they had some fun stuff in there. All right, let's see what else we got on here. I got a few things I want to talk about. I just want to get caught up on these as well. Moss said, I always watched the toys in case they moved because of that movie. I gotta say, if I was a kid, when I watched Toy Story, I may have been just a little creeped out if I thought my toys were moving in the middle of the night when I was asleep, especially T-Rex or those army men. Yeah, that may have freaked me out. I don't want any of my toys move. All right, I got a story for y'all. I got a story for y'all concerning toys that are moving and everything. Once upon a time, in our house, when my kids were around 8, 9 years old, somewhere around there, big thunderstorm moves through town. Just thunder, lightning, everything. All of a sudden, huge explosion. Turns out that lightning hit right between our house and the neighbor's house, fried a bunch of our electronics. It went through the whole house, this electricity. And so I jump up, as quick as I can, run into the kids' room, make sure they're all right. Well, as I run past their rooms or run past a little playroom area we had, all of a sudden I realized that there's a fire truck that's it's going off, and it scared me to death. It's scary enough, kids are crying a lot. And then I hear this, grab the kids, I come back, it's still going for just a second or two, and it stops. I couldn't figure out what was going on. So I go over to this fire truck, I open it up, there's batteries in it, but the batteries are dead. Well, apparently this electricity from this lightning hit our house so hard that the electricity racing through all the circuits and just going through the air gave just enough electric juice to this fire truck to let it charge up and play for another 15 or 20 seconds before the electricity from the lightning strike went out again. Talk about creeping me out. So, yeah, if I think the toys are actually moving around, it's just keep that to the movies and we'll be good. Especially the toys at the end of Toy Story, the creepy ones that are bothering what's the kid's name next door? The mean kid. Yeah, I don't want those things creeping around underneath my bed. That's how nightmares begin, right? All right, let's see what's. Lawrence, your family was also on Dukes of Hazzard. Well, yeah, I'm not going to claim too much of the Dukes of Hazzard. But yeah, Bowie, my brother Bowie was on The Apprentice. So yes, not Dukes of Hazzard. We did have Boss Hog on there. And it was trust me, it was an interesting name to have back while Dukes of Hazzard was on TV. And I'd walk around, them Duke boys, do things like that. But yeah, I didn't do that. But yeah, my brother Bowie was on The Apprentice as well. So yeah, my dad, Bowie, and then me. This following in the family footsteps. All right, Amanda, got any pranks planned for Thanksgiving with your family? And yeah, well, Amanda, if I did, I couldn't tell you because I don't know who may be watching this. I got a few pranks. I've got one that may not happen till Easter time. You see, I do a lot of pre-planning of my pranks. I think about these things and I kind of develop in it. I should have been a con man growing up. I think I would have been good, other than just possibility of going to jail and things like that. I was locked in a house for 3 months. I can't imagine being locked away somewhere else for a whole lot longer. So yeah, probably not a con man, but I do like to think of ways to trick and prank and things like that. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I may have a few things up my sleeve, and if I do, I'll tell y'all about on Monday. You never know. You never know what's going to happen at the Hog House over a holiday weekend, which maybe help me doing Big Brother, because I've always talked about you got to be flexible, you've got to be adaptable to whatever's happening. Well, Lord knows crazy things happen there every once in a while. So yeah, we'll see. It's going to be fun. We're going to do the Thanksgiving on Friday. Saturday, my Aggies play LSU on football, so we'll be watching we do a lot of football watching in the Hog household, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And I'm going to try to avoid the shopping malls completely. I have no desire to be involved with that. All right, let's see. I love the Toy Story movies. You got a friend in me, Andy says. Yeah, in fact, if y'all haven't checked it out, go check out my Instagram story. Not a post or anything, a story. Because I did a little promo for this show. But what's really fun is I found the Toy Story theme song, You Got a Friend in Me. But it wasn't in English, it's in Spanish, which I just thought was kind of cool. So I posted the Spanish version instead. So check out, you can listen to about 20 seconds of yo soy, yo tiene un amigo en me, man. I gotta practice my Spanish a little bit. But yeah, the music made Toy Story even that much better, right? And Ma's saying November 22nd, I haven't heard Mariah Carey once. I heard it once. I was at a store a couple of days ago, and I just almost wanted to go rushing out of the store. Not because I don't like it. I like it. Even when I've heard it 200 times, I still like the song. But there's a certain amount of stress that song creates, because as soon as I hear it, it's like, all right, now we're in Christmas. And I don't want to hear Christmas music until after Thanksgiving. That's just my own personal feelings. Let's do Thanksgiving. Then we'll move on to the Christmas. So yeah, I didn't want to really hear. I'm ready to just give me another week or two, and then we'll pick up on the Christmas side of it. All right, let's see. All right, I got another. All right, let me do this. 7:30. Yeah, let me tell you a couple more stories. Thanksgiving stories. Because if I don't tell them this week, then it's kind of tough to tell them in what, March or whatever. So I tell you a couple of Thanksgiving stories. One story. All right, one story. 1 year. How long ago is this? Geez, this was probably about 1989, because I don't think I was married to my wife yet, or maybe we'd just gotten married. I think we hadn't gotten married yet. So say 1989, right before I got married, I go up to southwest Arkansas, where a lot of my wife's family's from, and we go up to my wife's her granny's house. Big family Thanksgiving dinner there. The whole family gets together, typical deal. Well, her granny fixed all the food, most of the food for us on that Thanksgiving. And so I sit down, and because I'm the new family member, getting ready to be a family member in that family, I get to sit right next to her granny. and she starts serving up all the food. Looked amazing, looked wonderful. And one of the things that she serves me is stuffing. Now, I got to say, I really like stuffing. You'd never know that looking at me, right? I love stuffing most of the time. On this particular occasion, I'm not really sure because her granny was a wonderful cook, an amazing cook. She wrote cookbooks. But on this one particular situation, something that she used wasn't quite correct. I don't know if it's spoiled milk or what she used, but something wasn't quite correct. And this stuffing was some of the most vile taste. It was horrible. It was so bad. And I got a big old scoopful of it. And she was particularly proud of it. And so I sat there and I kind of ate it. I forced myself to eat it. And I'm going to be nice about it. So I ate it, and it was not my favorite item on the meal that particular day. Now, all the rest of the food made up for it, but that one item just wasn't quite what it needed to be. So I finally got done with it, was all excited. Before I can say anything, she's grabbed a big old spoon. She puts more stuffing on my plate. She says, "Here, Cliff, have some more. We've got a lot more this year than I thought we did." Well, yeah, because I'm the only one that's eating it. And so I eat some more. And at that point, I'm already pre-planned, saying, "Oh, I'm so hungry. I'm so full. This is going to have to be it. I don't think I can clear my plate at all." And finally, I get up. I go into the kitchen to clean my plate off in the trash. I'm scraping it off. Well, I open up the trash can, and I see that everyone else has scraped all of their stuffing from this meal into this trash can. Half this trash can is stuffing. And I, at that point, then look around, and everyone is laughing at me. And I then come to find out that everyone else came to the same conclusion I did after the first bite, that, yeah, this isn't her best stuffing that she's ever created. But she wasn't watching them. She was only watching me, the new member of the family. So they all snuck off, threw their stuffing away. And then they spent the entire meal watching me, laughing at me, laughing as they watched me try to eat some food and watching me slowly turn green and very uncomfortable. So, yeah, they thought that was hilarious. So mine's not the only family that enjoys a prank here or there, but certainly they got their laughs in that day. Now, I don't know what they would have done if I just stood up and said, I don't know, what could you say? I'm allergic to stuffing. You just had to do what you need to do. Sometimes you have to do that. Y'all keep that in mind when you're doing your Thanksgiving. If your mom, family, friend, whoever cooked dinner, if there's something that's not just quite what you wanted, don't say anything about it. Just be nice and polite and eat it anyway. It'll be all right. But that being said, eat a little of that, and then you eat a lot of the other stuff as well. So there you go. First Thanksgiving story. Second Thanksgiving story. Back at the Halleck household. Now, I've told y'all, crazy family. Not my whole family. Just a lot of people, a lot going on at a typical Thanksgiving celebration. We probably have 20, 25 people at our house that year doing Thanksgiving, people running around everywhere, everyone trying to get the meal ready, or watching football primarily at that point. Was they start getting the meal ready, all of a sudden I'm in the back room and I hear a scream. And I don't remember if it was my mom or someone, little screaming, the kind of cheer when someone's upset at someone. Get out, go on. I go into our kitchen. I discovered that my brother's family dog a big old dog, has managed to pop open the refrigerator, found the turkey, pulled the entire 20-pound turkey to 15-pound, a big turkey, pulled this entire turkey out of the refrigerator and is chowing down on turkey on the floor of the kitchen. And he probably got a third of the way through it or so before someone happened to walk in and notice it. And of course, by then it's a little too late. Even if the dog's eating one side, no one really wants to eat on the other side, right? So, but I guarantee that dog didn't get the rest of it either. We had a lot of upset people that particular Thanksgiving. Fortunately, we were prepared. We had some honey baked ham, and I think we had some backup stuff planned and all of that. So it worked out fine. But I will never forget running in to see what's going on. I see this dog running full speed out of the kitchen, still a big old piece of turkey in its mouth, and everyone else in there just say, "Oh my God," not laughing so much. Then after a few minutes, we all laughed about it, but we're a lot more careful nowadays in terms of keeping animals in the house while we got the Thanksgiving spread all set up. So yeah, dog had a very happy Thanksgiving that one particular year. All right, let's see. Let me look at a few things on here. Buzz prequel is not Pixar. Lawrence Santiago is saying, okay, well, that's interesting. It still looked good. I hope they do Pixar justice in the way they do it, but did not. And Lawrence saying no such thing as Cleopatra eggs. All right, well, there you go. Hey, you kind of burst my bubble. And next thing you're going to tell me is they're in the hidden passage underneath the National Archives and or hidden drawers in the presidential desk that lead you to some wealth of riches like National Treasure, right? I like to pretend like all that stuff is accurate, and no Ark of the Covenant either, right? Yeah, I figured there maybe weren't those eggs, but it was still a pretty good movie. And yeah, Moss saying, love the Rock. He is such a great father. Hey, he just seems like a very, very nice guy, a guy with a lot of integrity. He did a little show that was kind of comedy, but it was talking about a lot of his background growing up playing football, and his parents were big into wrestling, organized. His dad, I think, was an actual wrestler. If all this is true, which I think it was, it's kind of cool just learning about his background that got him where he was. Where he was. All right, let's see. Ma's anger. When was BB over the top? Ma, it was in a fall into the winter. It was online only. They didn't have it on TV. You had to watch it on the computer back then. And I remember it was during one of the election years because they actually announced who had won president while they were inside the house, if I remember. All right, let's see what else. Miss Pina Phantom, how far did Bowie get on The Apprentice? All right, that's a good question because Bowie, he made it through 4 episodes. He was the 4th person that was not evicted, fired. 4th person fired by Donald Trump. Who would have thought back then that the person he was working with on that show would end up being a president of the United States? Amazing. But yeah, he was the 4th person fired. He was for those of you who haven't seen the original Apprentice, they split them up in the men's team and women's team, and the men lost like the first 4 in a row. Just got killed. So Bowie got evicted 4th, and he's always been not upset, but they basically told him, said, Bowie, you didn't do anything wrong on the episode you got evicted. It's just that someone had to go, and there wasn't really anyone else to point the finger at. You were the easiest person, and it was a little bit. He wasn't controversial enough. He didn't really create. He wasn't the villain. He wasn't the good guy. He just kind of hadn't really had a chance to really develop a character or anything. So yeah, he got cut loose. But the reason I think it's funny is because he got sent home 4th. And so when I was inside the Big Brother house, don't think that it didn't cross my mind when I got blindsided and sent out the door instead of Nicole, that it was, let's see, 1, 2, 3, that I was the 4th person getting sent out of the Big Brother house, because I had told several people, said, look, win or lose, I just want to make it further down the road than Bowie made it on The Apprentice. So I was sitting there thinking, oh my God, I'm going out 4th just like Bowie is. I really wanted to go just a little bit further. And so when I won the Battle Back Challenge and knew I was going to stay in the house at least one more week and make it a little further than my brother did, well, that was kind of a victory right there. Sibling goals, right? Got a little further than Bowie did. So yeah, it was funny because my season, Big Brother's live, so everyone's watching and they know what's happening all the time. They know what's happening while I'm still inside the house. Bowie and The Apprentice, that was all taped. It's like Survivor and Amazing Race. They tape it all, then they do all the editing, and then you see it later. So Bowie had already done the show and come back, but he wouldn't tell any of us how he had finished, how he had done. So we watched it, but we didn't know until he actually got evicted. But man, that was so cool back then. Now, one thing that Bowie has that I don't have is they actually put out a video game of the first season of The Apprentice. So Bowie's actually in a video game. They didn't do it for Big Brother 21. Maybe I'll write my own video game one of these days. Yeah, I doubt it, but that'd be kind of interesting as well. So there you go. All right, Michelle Moore. The Christmas parade tragedy was by me. It was horrible, and yeah, I didn't realize too. Did y'all know JJ Watt? That's his home city is it's Kenowa or something. I can't even pronounce it, but oh, that's so terrible. I watched that and all I can think is, I just hope that it was just a pure accident, that no one did that on purpose, because it it's horrific to think that you could have someone so evil that they would do that on purpose. And now, I don't want to talk about it because I don't know. I still don't know exactly what it was. I know they've arrested a person. It sounds like maybe, I still hope it wasn't intentional, but certainly someone being very boneheaded and very negligent in the way they were doing things. I hate it. It's never good when something like that happens, but even more when it's during the holiday season and where people are trying to come together and just, I saw that, and I got to say, there's so much that happens in this country that creates divisiveness. We had the Kyle Rittenhouse, right? We have all these things that get people, I'm on this side or I'm on this side, and kind of going at each other sometimes. And then you have something like this happen. And I'd like to think, as horrible as it is, I would hope it would just help pull people together just a little bit going forward into this holiday season. Because it's just, any person, parents, I hate it. I can't stand seeing people suffering at any time, but especially during this time of year, it's tough. So yeah, that's horrible. That's not the news that I wanted to see at all. So, all right, let's see. Lawrence, is your brother's season available to watch anywhere? That's a good question. We've got it on DVDs that had just come out right after he was on that, because this was in year 2001, 2002, I think, when The Apprentice came out. It came out right after Survivor. Well, not right after. It came out pretty soon after Survivor had come out, and Big Brother. And so they had it on DVD, but I don't know. I don't know if it's out there on YouTube or not. That's a good question. I bet it is. Well, it was on NBC, so it wouldn't be on Paramount Plus. It's probably not on their Peacock streaming service either. I don't know. That's a good question. I'm gonna have to go out to YouTube and check it out and see if it's there. If you find it, episode 4 is the one that he was in the first few episodes, because they kept losing, so he was involved in it a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go out there and check. He still keeps up with some of the people from his show that were on there. So yeah, and one of the people that was on his season was Omarosa. And he still talks to her, and she talks to him. And now Omarosa over in Australia doing Celebrity Big Brother. She's made a, between politics and reality TV, Omarosa's had quite the interesting life, right? Amazing what you can do with this sometimes. All right, Lawrence saying, where's the 140-inch TV set for $99? Sorry, Lawrence, they only had one available, and I already bought it up. But they've got backups. They got 120 inches, and they're only $14,000. You can't all get the $99 one, right? People are gonna have to start buying bigger houses to hold the size of these TVs that are starting to come out. When I was a kid, I remember we had like a 20-inch TV, something like this. Yeah, it wasn't huge, but we didn't really care back then. And we did have remote controls. They were called the Kids. My dad would say, "Hey, Cliff, go change it to channel 13." That was his remote control. And then we had the clapper remote control. You know what that was? That's when you say, Cliff, go change your remote to channel 13. Yeah, that's how we had it. So yeah, a 90-inch TV with 4,000 different channels, and you all control it with a click. We've certainly evolved over the last 40 or 50 years, right? All right, Ms. Pina Phantom. How did Bowie get his name? From the knife. But from the knife? No. All right. Interesting story. So my name is William Clifford. My brother's name is Robert. My next brother's name is Jim. So very standard kind of names and all that. But for some reason, when Bowie was born, he didn't actually get named till a couple of days after he'd been born, because the family just couldn't come up with a good name that matched him up with. We just couldn't find one that everyone liked, that everyone. 3 boys in school. Every time my parents would throw out a boy's name, one of the 3 of us would say, "Oh no, I know a so-and-so, and I don't like him. I don't like him, so I don't like that name." So we're having a hard time with it. But my granny Hog would always talk about this baby that was getting ready to be born, and she would talk to her brother or her grandson Jim, my third brother, who was 3 at the time, and she'd say, "Oh, your little baby brother or baby sister." I don't think they knew back then what it was going to be. Your little baby, we'll just call that baby Bluey. And I don't know where she came with that. She'd say Bluey. And so my brother Jim would always point to my mom's stomach and say, Bluey. And so we started using that name as well, Bluey, 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 Bluey. And so once he was born, we also, well, let's name him Bluey. And everyone's like, nah, you can't name a baby Bluey. But then we started thinking my other brother, Jim, and then Bowie and Jim Bowie, the famous guy at the Alamo. And I know it just kind of stuck. And before you knew it, we said, why not? So yeah, that's how Bowie got his name, was just my granny give him a name for my brother Jim that he could pronounce, Bluey Bluey. So there you go. All right, 7:55. Chaz saying, was there ever a point in the house where you truly considered giving up so you could go home to your family? Nah, never, not a single tiny little second. Chaz, I was in there. I'd say, if I'm evicted, I'm going out. I'm keeping my head held high and all of that. But even in the worst of times, I was going to take advantage of every single second I had in there, because there is nothing that perturbs me more than someone that gets such an incredible chance to do a show like Big Brother or Survivor or anything else, and then they quit and they leave. And that used to just infuriate me when I was watching TV and I would see someone leave and think, oh, there's so many people who could have taken that position instead. Well, now that I've done Big Brother, I understand a little bit better. And I now get that there are some reasons that people leave, that it's stressful in there. And some people, from a mental health standpoint, it just may not be the most healthy thing for them to continue to do it. So I've backed off a little bit. I now understand why some people may feel like it's best for them to leave early. And so I'm not criticizing people anymore. I've learned, I've evolved, I guess. So I'm going to leave it up going forward. Every person, and we've seen it on The Challenge and a few other shows, people leave early. I'm always going to leave it up to the person, because they know best what's going on inside them and all that. If you have to quit, you quit. But personally, no, I wasn't going to quit. No, I never thought about that. I can't. There was never. Not only would I have never quit, there was never a time where I ever said, I'm tired of it. I hope they vote me out just so I can go home. No, I was fighting tooth and nail every moment while I was in there. Now, having said that, if I had gotten booted early enough, and once I got booted out of the house and I was in sequester waiting for that last week until finale, at that point in time, I was like, all right, I'm tired of this. Just let's have the vote today so I can go home to my family. The last thing I wanted to do was hang around for another week waiting on it. If I had been like Jack Matthews from my season, the first person in jury, and knew that I was going to be in a jury house for 7-8 weeks, however long, 2 months, that would have been horrific. Knowing that I wasn't playing the game anymore, and yet I couldn't see my family, that'd be hard. That's where I would have really wanted just to say, man, guys, let's just do it and get out of here. I was stuck around because I agreed to do it, but I would have been ready to go home. But no, I was in the house. There wasn't a chance in the world I was leaving. I never thought about leaving. You put me in there for 3 years, and I'm still not leaving. Have y'all seen the show Alone? Alone is where they take a lot of people, they send them out into the middle of Alaska with a few tools, bow and arrow, knife, fire starter. It's all right, well, y'all just stay here. As soon as there's only one of y'all left, then we'll come get you and you win $1 million. But until then, so it's different than Big Brother, where I knew that I only had to stay 99 days and I was through. Alone, you could be out there for 3 months. You could be out there for 6 months, 9 months. You don't know how long it's going to be. And I like to think that if I was on that show, the only way I would get pulled out of there was if they said, yeah, Cliff, you're horrible at hunting or whatever, and you have meeting in 4 weeks, so we're pulling you out for medical reasons. But I would never give up on that show. I just don't like giving up. So now I didn't think about why I was in the Big Brother house. All right, let me talk real quick. I should have spent more time, but I'm going to take a little time to talk about it real quick. A little bit of a fundraiser that's going on. Hearts of Reality. I'm sure most of y'all know. I've talked about it before. An amazing charity. Hearts of Reality funds Give Kids the World Village over in Orlando. It's kind of a version of Make-A-Wish. All the kids and their families that have severe illnesses that want to go see all that happens in Orlando can go to Give Kids the World Village, stay there so you don't have to pay anything for housing and all, and they get tickets to all the attractions and all of that. So that's a big charity, an amazing charity, and they have a lot of involvement with people in reality TV, including myself, and I'm so proud to be part of it. So 2 fundraisers I wanted to mention to you guys if you got a little time. First of all, if you happen to be in the Orlando area or you think you may want to go down there, They just announced today we're going to do a little round of miniature golf. It's going to be Nicole and myself and Christy and Tommy, and then 2 guests, someone who wins this auction on eBay, and then one of their guests. We're all going to go play a round of miniature golf. I'm good at putt-putt, so you better be prepared. But if you're going to be in the Orlando area, check out the eBay auction. And even if you aren't, go out and check out the eBay auction and I don't like it or something, so it shows up a little bit more on the algorithms and all that. But I am doing that as a fundraiser. All the money from that auction goes straight to Give Kids the World. Now, the other one that I really wanted to point out to y'all is I'm trying to raise just a little bit more money before I go there December 10th, 11th, that weekend. So I'm going to put up as part of the link on this profile page or on the YouTube channel, I'm going to put up the link to my donation page. For those of you who can afford it, and only for those of you who can afford it, if you could just throw in a little bit of money, $5 would be great. Just a little bit of donation to Give Kids the World. Again, 100% goes to the charity. But the other thing I'm doing is this. Y'all know me, and I've kind of got a fondness for loofahs. I grew up, I'm the loofah king of Texas. So one of the things I'm going to do is anyone who donates $15, $20 or more, we'll call it $15 for those of y'all watching on here. Anyone who donates $15 or more to my donation page, in exchange, if you're willing to give me your address, I'm going to mail you some loofah seeds and a little bit of instructions on how to grow the loofahs. And I think it'd be cool to have loofahs from my backyard growing all over the United States here in the next year or two. So anyone who can spare it, that wants to get some loofah seeds of your own for Christmas or just to grow, find the link on the YouTube page. And if you can give, again, at least $15, let me know that you did. I'll go out and check and see your name and all that. And then we'll touch bases and I'll get some loofah seeds sent to you and we'll grow loofahs all over the world. How's that sound? So there you go, guys. And again, I'll be posting. I'm going to post a Instagram post on that as well tomorrow. So be looking for that if you don't mind. But yeah, amazing charity. I'm so excited to be part of it. So with that, guys, one final thing before I do get done, as I always have been mentioning here lately, if you already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. And that way you'll get notifications for anything I put out there. I'm going to try to do some filming at Hearts of Reality, and I'm still doing my Survivor recaps. We didn't get a chance to talk about that tonight, but another amazing episode. Hey, check out my recap from last Wednesday, and we'll talk about that. But guys, y'all have a fantastic week. Have an amazing Thanksgiving. I hope you eat all kinds of good food. And if you get some stuffing that's not quite right, yeah, take a taste anyway, just to be polite. But no, I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. I will be back on Monday. We'll talk about all our adventures. I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of stories to tell at that point. Until then, guys, SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids, love all of y'all. Happy Thanksgiving. Cheers, my friends. Bye.